Okay, so question number 7 states, do books have the same effect as other media, such as movies, music, and video games? Why or why not? Based on your answer, should books be censored in K through 12 grade schools? So I have like a book, for example, like it's a number 1 New York Times bestsellers, over 1 million copies sold. You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. Oh yeah, Sincero. So here I want to basically elaborate on my viewpoint. Is really that books are not the same as other media like movies, music, video games. And the reason why I would say that is because even just like feeling a book, like I know that sounds weird, but even just feeling the book is totally different than watching something on the TV or on your phone. And another way that I can elaborate this too is that when I'm reading this book, which I highlight just as much as you do, as you can see here. But, well, I think you highlight way more than me, but I do highlight a lot. So when I'm reading the book, I'm trying to be like mind cluttered free because our minds tend to just go, but I try to just kind of like relax my mind, and then when I read it, I like to understand what I'm reading. So therefore I would say that in my opinion there's more effort that's put into reading, therefore it is more objectified. You are objectively in processing the information that is being portrayed for you. So and when you're watching a movie or listening to music or playing a video game, it's very fast paced. So for example, a movie is just like very subjective because you're just kind of sitting there and you're just kind of like just taking it all in, and then it's it can be very sensationalized, exaggerated. There's a lot of drama scenes and things of that nature that can also rise all kinds of emotions. So subconsciously you might not even realize it, but you're just taking all this stuff in and you're not objectifying the information that you're taking in. So unfortunately, that's a truth reality in my opinion. But so that's an example of movies. Music, the same thing. There's the beat, boom boom, like there's this one song. I hope you don't judge me based on this, but it's that one song that goes like I got hoes in different area codes, like songs like that. Like when you'll hear women singing these songs. And like when I was younger, like I was one of those women. Like I used to sing songs without, like I knew, like later on I would find out what the lyrics meant, but the beat was just so catchy that I wasn't really realizing what was being said. And then when I did realize what was being said, at that point I already liked the music, so I was already like, okay, I'm already vibing with this music. This is my music already, like I like this song, I like this artist. So now my loyalty meant more to me at that moment than what is actually doing to our culture in general, because songs like that actually demoralize women. But and not only that, subconsciously it's programming us, in my opinion. Again, this is all an opinion, but so I would have to argue. And the same thing with video games. Video games are so interactive. My son is sometimes so hard to get him off of games that I have to argue with him. You can see my I still have Christmas stuff back here, sorry. But anyway, sometimes it's very hard to get my son off of his game, and it's like and that shows me something. It shows me, one, that the games are very interactive, so, and you're very drawn into the game, so it's almost like an escape for people, right? So when you're, again, it's not objective. So you don't have an objective perspective. That is my argument, that you don't have an objective perspective when you're listening to music, when you're watching movies or playing video games. Versus when you're reading a book, you do have that time to objectify on what you're reading, because you're sitting there consciously, competently wanting to understand the information coming in. And that's why you buy a book, because you want to know more about something, whatever it is. So so I would have to argue that they are very different. And and based on that answer, I would say that I personally don't believe that books should be censored. The reason why I say that is just because when you're censoring books, you're taking away from the creativity. You're taking away a part of our culture. So if our culture, for example, like, I know this is gonna sound very, very odd, but if our culture is known for rape culture, so there is a rape culture that we live in the United States, and if our culture is known for that, why is it bad for it to be in a book and educate our children on what rape culture is? So I do believe that education leads to open opportunities, to open doors, and with that education, you can apply it. So here we have a lot of children that are getting molested, are getting they're getting sexually abused, sexually harassed, in so many different aspects of this rape culture, and the media also plays a role in that rape culture. So why is it a bad thing to talk about it? It's like the issues that are in our culture are important, and it's important for people to understand these, because then maybe, just maybe, it can be prevented. So that's my whole view on it. So, and that was just an example, but I hope I answered your question correctly.